what's up everybody, welcome back to another video, and today, as you can see, I have another AMD motherboard on my desk here on X570 board. And in today's video I'm gonna be reviewing it, discussing about it, and give my feedback about this board, and in the end also gonna give my final score for it. And if you wish to buy it, I'm gonna leave my Amazon affiliate link down below in the description, and also on ASUS's home web page link, so you can check out all the specifics as well. But I'm pretty sure you already know most of the specifics about this board. You just wanna know, should I actually buy it, right? Because I have now tested this thing, and there's quite some stuff to say about it. So first of all, when I first got it, right, I went on Google, as always, to check out what's the exact price, because ASUS has sent me this just to test, so I'm gonna be sending it out to another reviewer. But yeah, I was interested, what's the exact price? It's near $1,000. That's like, I think this is the most expensive motherboard I have ever tested. And it doesn't even have a water block. Like most of these really expensive boards that go to around like 800 bucks, right? It was like $870 on Amazon. Do come with a full-sized water block, right? It doesn't have a water block. So I was pretty stunned here. I mean, everything does come very neatly packaged in a pretty beefy box, and my god, this thing actually weighs a ton. I literally had to check this thing on my food scale to know for sure. And what I did was, I compared it to a somewhat regular motherboard, right? And the findings were, well, a regular motherboard weighs about 1.1 kilos. And the Crosshair 8 Extreme, almost 3 kilograms. Absolutely insane. Literally could not believe my eyes. It is by far the heaviest motherboard I have ever held. And it doesn't have a water block on it that would, actually make it this heavy, right? It's just pure massive heatsinks everywhere on the VRMs and all sorts of other places. I was stunned that even the M.2 heatsinks were heavy aluminium heatsinks. I mean, that's some heavy duty stuff right here. Now, talking a little bit about spec wise, right, this thing has pretty much everything built into it that you would ever want from an X570 motherboard, at least if you ask me. It has 18+2 power stages, high quality 10K capacitors, Optimum 3 technology from ASUS to provide the best signal strength to your memory modules, and take full advantage of any DDR4 memory basically that you would ever put on this board, right? It's insane attention to detail here everywhere, but especially or mainly for cooling, right? A ton of aluminium cooling the most vital parts of the board that are, crucial to achieve the very best overclocking possibilities, or, just have a super stable system. There are M.2 backplates, extended VRM heatsinks, aluminium heatsink covers. I mean, it has pretty much everything in terms of performance and cooling. ASUS tends to, always deliver, and on that part, yeah, incredible work done here once more. Now, other than the sheer weight of this motherboard, I was really happy to see all sorts of knickknacks all across the motherboard, right? One of the main things that actually caught my eye the first time that I laid my eyes on the board was the ATX power connector, the 24-pin, right? It is on the board sideways to, help you hide cables a little bit better. Although the two 8-pin power connectors on the top left of the board, I think should have also been made like this, in my opinion. And yeah, there's also a heatsink on top of the ATX connector, but not connected to anything. It's just there for, I don't know, like extra weight it seems. I mean, it looks good, but I couldn't make sense of it. Now, as you can see, there are also simple buttons on the board, like the power button and a flex key. that by default is the reset button, but you can reprogram it to be something that, you know, enables safe boot or disables the Aura Sync RGB effects. And well, yeah, RGB, it does have a huge LED strip underneath the board. Looks very nice when the motherboard is in your system, and the ROG logo on the I/O ports plus one on the heatsink is pretty nice. The extra caveat here is that it does have an OLED display as well at the center of the board, called the Live Dash OLED 2. You can program it to show CPU frequency, temperatures and such, or even show a custom black and white GIF. I mean, I like these, but I've seen them burn in on other boards using OLED displays, and the frame rate on these motherboards or on these displays tend to be pretty abysmal, as is the case here as well. It's like 5 frames per second or something. So yeah, it's in practical use case, it's only good for a static image that burns in over time. Now, there's also a truckload of connectors on the board. I'm not gonna dive too deep into them too much here, but you can just click the link in the description that takes you to the ASUS's webpage, so you can see for yourself if these are enough for you. But there is almost everything you would ever need on any board over here. Now, some other stuff that I found interesting that came with this board for free, you know, first of all, has to be the fan connector unit, which was pretty nice. A really nice hub to click in a ton of fans and RGB headers to easily manage everything from one place and sync them all up. Another neat thing is the TIM.2 module that you can hook next to the memory slots that has room for 2 PCI Express 4.0 M.2 drives. And if you are wondering how many of them are on the board itself, then you can find a total of 3 M.2 slots there that all support PCI Express 4.0 speeds. So in total, 5 M.2 drives is what you can fit on this board, and they all are going to be very well cooled thanks to the chunky aluminum heatsinks on them. Now, another neat little thing that I found that came with this board as free extra has to be the ROG Clavis. It is basically a USB-C sound card. Why do we need a USB-C sound card with a motherboard? Because it already has a pretty supreme sound card in it, which I'm gonna talk about in a second. But yeah, it does have a USB-C sound card, so you can pretty much take this dongle and hook it up into pretty much every device that has a USB-C, right? Your phone, your Nintendo Switch or something, right? Or even your laptop maybe, right? That doesn't have a really great sound card in it. So you hook up the ROG Clavis and have a much better audio experience most of the time, right? And you can hook up your favorite 3.5mm headset into it. The question here is, why? Why is this included? Because I went on the interwebs and checked out what does an ROG Clavis cost. It costs 120 euros. Or dollars. So this board could have been 120 bucks cheaper, at least. And that's a pretty big deal. Do we really need this? Do we really have to pay 120 bucks for this as a forced extra? I think not, right? Many people would just, you know, leave it in the motherboard box and put the box on top of your shelf and forget about that box for like 5 years or something, until you need to sell it, right? But yeah, it was kinda weird to see this thing there. Anyway, let's move on. The I/O, right? It is just filled with goodness here, and which brings me to the next great add-on for this board. Proper Wi-Fi 6. The antenna is great and has a magnet in it, so you can really easily stick it on the side of your case. And yeah, on top of Wi-Fi 6, of course, there's a lot of different outputs here. A total of 7 USB Type A ports, 2 display ports with 2 USB-Cs that are Thunderbolt 4 supported. Not to mention that next to the 24-pin ATX connector, there is an extra 6-pin PCI Express to give full 60-watt juice to the Thunderbolt 4 ports. So you can easily power some great devices here. And on top of the regular BIOS switch and clear CMOS button, we do find a single 10 gigabit and a single 2.5 gigabit LAN port. And things don't end there, because we also find a really powerful, high quality audio outputs for the Supreme FX sound card. So I mean, this board really does have almost everything that you could think of and more that we don't want to think of on this board here in this package, right? If you have the money, this probably is one of the very best X570 motherboards for AMD that are out there right now. So my final verdict for the ASUS ROG Crosshair 8 Extreme X570 is going to be a 9 out of 10. It's near perfect, but there's a price to pay for perfection. Near $1,000 is really hard to justify for a motherboard, even with all these features on it. And I mean, do we really need like expensive extras, forced extras that we might never actually use, like a USB-C audio card, a sound card that costs $120, right? And maybe, you know, the fan connector and stuff like that also cost extra. They definitely cost extra, right? But how much, right? So this board could have been a lot cheaper, is what I'm trying to say. And even ASUS has a pretty decent X570E AMD motherboard that looks pretty goddamn good. Still has Wi-Fi built into it, right? Everything. Just not as many features, not as heavy, right? But cost like $350 or something like that, right? So it's really hard to, you know, God. Now thinking of these things, I'd maybe give it a 7 or an 8, not even a 9. It depends, right? Maybe it's cheaper when you buy it or something like that, but yeah. $850 on Amazon, near $1,000 with shipping, right? Ah, God, it's really tough to justify the price. But it is one of the very best X570 boards I've ever seen and tested. So that's gonna be it for my quick little review. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comment section. And I'll be seeing you soon. Hit that sub button and like button too. Anyway, thanks for watching. Ciao.